Rohan Dredge has extensive professional and personal development experience that have enabled him to bring 100% to his clients to see transformational change, empowerment and growth take place. This man is regarded by his clients as an outstanding coach, trainer, speaker and facilitator. Rohan Dredge also has several years' experience in the not-for-profit sector and has travelled extensively in the Asia-Pacific region, training leaders and overseeing training programs and aid and development projects. His most memorable to date is his involvement in 4 orphanages being built in the Banda Aceh area in Indonesia after the 2004 tsunami. Rohan's passion is to focus on helping people be who they need to be in order to do what they need to do in order to have what they want to have. Rohan's been married to Megan since 1997, and to this day they are still mistaken for newlyweds. A new ring for Megan at their 10th anniversary helped in this area. Ladies, you will love this man. And gentlemen, you will too. Ladies and gentlemen, please get Rohan Dredge up here. Well done.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Well done. I think you should continue to give yourselves a round of applause for being at this conference. Congratulate yourself. Well done. I congratulate you. I've got a couple of questions for you. My first question is, when's the last time you did something for the first time? Yeah, you're thinking, aren't you? That's right. My second question is, what would you do if you could? My third question is, have you ever considered the power of one learning correctly applied to your life? A little while ago, I attended a motivational weekend for young people, and I was there as a guest, and we turned up on the Saturday morning, and as the morning went to lunch, and lunch went to the afternoon, and afternoon moved on to late afternoon, it became apparent that the exercise on the Saturday evening was called a board break. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but it's where they get everybody into a state of confidence and they encourage them, and they get a board about 15 mil thick, about 1.5 centimetres thick, and they hold it out, they bring it down to about halfway down your arm, and you pull your right hand back and you stand in a particular stance and you hit this board and it's supposed to break. Now, at this point in time, I begin to see that we're supposed to be involved in this. Now, I want you to understand I'm a VIP. And I kick off in my mind this conversation. And on one part of my mind is saying, come on, bro! You are the man! You can do this! You've wanted to do something like this all the time. I mean, I'm having visions of tapping it with my pinky and the whole thing just disintegrating in front of me, right? I'm thinking, this is going to be so easy. Headbutting it, karate chopping it, and I've got all these kind of images of how great I am. And then I begin to hear this other voice, this other conversation, and it kind of says something like, yeah, something's going to break and it's not going to be the board. And I've got this picture in my mind, of karate chopping the board and having to walk out like this. Oh, you're the board break guy. Yeah, I'm the board break guy. And so they started to teach us how to do it, how to stand, what kind of mindset we needed to have to attack this opportunity that we'd been given. And they got us to write on the board all of the things that we felt like were limiting us. Can you think of some of those things for you right now? All the things, the thinking, the beliefs, the mindsets. Can you picture the things that perhaps up to now have been holding you back, but because you've been here, they're going to be different? And we wrote on one side of the board the things that we felt like were holding us back. And then they got us to turn the board over. I love this bit. And write down all the things we wanted to be. And all the things we wanted to do. And all the things we wanted to have. And that was inspiring. And we began to get this incredible sense of energy in the room. There was about 20 or 25 of us, a whole lot of young people. Myself, my wife, and another guest. And as we're getting closer and closer to the event, I'm just kicking off this conversation in my own head. Come on, Ro! You can do it because you're the man. You can do it because this is so easy. Everybody knows how to do it. It's just you're going to hit it and it's going to be like just going through butter. It's just easy. It's awesome. And I'm thinking, yes, that's right. I can do it. And then just as I finish having that conversation with myself, another voice kicks in. Yeah, something's going to break and it's not going to be the board. And so they get the first person up. She's 12. She's just finished her first year of high school. She's about this high. And right at this point, I just feel this conversation kick in and it says, now's a good time to play the VIP card. Now's a good time to take a step back and say, I think I'll just let the young people do it and just watch them. I'm here to encourage them. And this little 12-year-old girl stands up, puts her little left arm out like this, and they bring the board halfway down her arm, and she puts it back. She goes down like this. She nearly reaches the ground. She's so little. And she gets her right hand like this. She looks at it, and she hits this board like this, and easily and effortlessly it breaks. And I'm over here with everybody else because we've been cheering everyone on, and I'm clapping and cheering and yelling and screaming and thinking, this is fantastic, see how doable it is, everybody can have a go at this. And over on this side, another part of my mind kicks in and goes, oh no, you really have to do it. You can't pull out now, a 12-year-old girl just did it. What are you going to do? Yeah, something's going to break, but it's not going to be the board. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And I began to entertain both sides of this conversation. And I had a choice to make at that point. And the choice was, when was the last time I did something for the first time? The choice was, what is on the other side of not knowing the outcome? So my wife gets up. She's about halfway through the group. Now, you need to understand, my wife's fantastic. I love her. She's great. But she comes up to here on me. And I'm quite a bit stronger than her. And she puts her gorgeous left arm out like this and pulls her beautiful right hand back with those incredible nails that she keeps so perfectly manicured. And she stands there like this, and everybody in the room is cheering her on. And I'm cheering her on, and I'm saying, you can do it, babe. This is awesome. I believe in you. And she stands there with her left hand out and her right hand pulled back. And she transfers her weight and she hits the board, and easily and effortlessly the board breaks. And I'm over here and I'm with everybody else. I mean, we are clapping and screaming and cheering, and I'm thinking to myself, if a 12-year-old can do it and if your wife can do it, this is easy because you're the man. You can do this thing, bro. There's no one better. And I'm like pinky breaking it, forehead breaking it. I'm having all these images in my own mind of how amazing I am. And then this other voice kicked in. And the other voice said, oh no, a 12-year-old girl just did it. Yeah, your wife's just done it. Now you have to do it. Yeah, something's going to break, but it's not going to be the board. And I get called up. I'm third from last. Oh, man. And I stand there. And my left hand's out like this, and my right hand's back like this, and I felt like I was in a movie set. You know, where the lights dim down around you, and the edges just get a little bit blurry, and the music goes up, and the spotlight's on you right now. That's how I felt. And there I'm standing like this, and I've got all the things that I think are holding me back that I'm staring at. I've got my right hand back. I've got all the things that are ahead of me that I want to be and I want to do and I want to have on the other side of doing something for the first time. And there I stood, absolutely at the point of no return. I asked you a question before when we started. And the question was, have you ever considered the power of one learning correctly applied? And this was an amazing place where I was experiencing the point of no return. I'd just been hit by the 5th 8-foot wave at Soldiers Beach. And I gulped a whole mouthful of water, and I could feel underneath my feet the sandbank that we were standing on just seconds before had collapsed. And we're standing on the sandbank and it collapsed. And as a 13-year-old boy, I felt myself being dragged out to sea. And the last time I saw my dad was when I looked over my shoulder like this, and I saw him holding the wrist of a girl as tightly as he could, and holding the hair of another girl as tightly as he could. And I looked over my shoulder, and the 6th wave came back and hit me, and I got dragged underneath the ocean, and I felt my feet just touch the bottom of the sand of the collapsing sandbank, and I'm just being dragged away. Everything in me is trying to pull back to the beach. I look over, my dad's got his hand around the wrist of one girl and hanging onto the hair of the other. It all looked pretty desperate, and I just kept getting further and further and further away from him. And I stopped seeing it, and I felt like I was in a natural washing machine being turned over and churned over. And there was sand and white water, and I was spluttering and spitting out water. And I had the experience where I felt my feet touch the ground. And without thinking twice, I'd looked back, gone under the surface, felt the ground, and just pushed off the sand and went out with this rip. And I don't know exactly how long it was. I was 13 at the time. It happened like that. It must have been 10, 12, 15 seconds. And I ended up about 100 metres off the beach and about 150 metres down the beach. And there I was, stuck, without knowing whether I was going to get saved or whether I was going to actually see my dad again. You know, I want to talk to you about how you can turn learning into earning. And I've called my presentation this afternoon, New Level Living. And I'm going to give you 5 things that you can put all the different things you've applied over the last 2 days into the model that I give you this afternoon. And these things you can use to adapt, apply, use, train with anything that you're doing in your life right now. You can apply it to your business, you can apply it to your relationships, you can apply it to your right now, and you can apply it to your future. Because the truth is, I actually believe that only a handful of things make a big difference. I actually believe that only a handful of things, if you focus on them, are diligent with them, and apply them, make the biggest difference to your life. If you do them right now, and if you do them into the future. So what's the first step to New Level Living? Well, the very first step, I believe, is purpose. Purpose is knowing who you are and what you're about. Purpose isn't a witty slogan. Purpose isn't a byline to an ad campaign. It's much deeper and much more significant than that. Purpose is knowing who you are and what you are about. Purpose isn't a number plate, IXLR8, or I motivate you. It isn't something that you just slap on like a badge. It's much deeper than that. And it's best to understand the power of purpose by understanding its absence, not its presence. Let me help you with that. I'm going to count to 3. When I get to 3, I want everyone to stop breathing, okay? Can you do that for me? We're in. Just nod, raise your hand. Okay, at 3, everyone's just going to quit breathing from then on. All right, and I'll tell you when you can breathe again. Can you work with me on this, everyone? Can you work with me on this? I really want you with me. Yes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to keep breathing. And I want you to understand that when we're talking about purpose, we're actually talking about understanding things that are powerful and important by their absence. Who started to breathe again? Who's breathing out their nose, hoping I haven't seen? If you hang on and hang on and hang on, needing and desiring and wanting that oxygen becomes more important. Everybody breathe right now. Man, that was close. She really played it 100%. 100. Remind me when I get to one of my points, you're going to get one of my free giveaways, okay? All right, nice job, because I want you alive at the end. This is important. You see, when you started to desire oxygen, you understood it was important by its absence. I believe purpose is exactly the same. Knowing who you are and what you're about. Knowing why you do what you do. Answering the question, why do you draw breath? Because I believe work follows purpose. And knowing why you do what you do as a broker, knowing why you do what you do in your profession is more important than what you do. In World War II, prisoners of war were woken one day and they were given the task for the day as if they hadn't already had their rights taken off them. And they were given the task for the day of moving an enormous amount of dirt from this end of the compound all the way up to the other end of the compound. They had to spend the whole day doing this task. And they went to bed that night tired, sick, hungry, feeling like what was the use of all of that? And their job the next day after they were woken up was to move the dirt from where they finished on the first day back to the original place. And they were woken up on the third day, and their job was to move the dirt from the original place back